Arsenal 2, Villarreal 3, and Nicolas Pepe comes back to score against the Gunners at the Emirates Stadium. Welcome back, guys. This is my match reaction. Hope you guys are keeping well. I did promise I was going to be doing a live watch along. Unfortunately, I'm out here on holiday at the moment. I'm still going to be here for the Atletico Bilbao game, so there'll be no live watch along before the season starts. But I will be back before the Premier League, the first game against Manchester United. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and I will be there for the Manchester United game live back at home in the studio. So let's get straight into it. Arsenal 2, Villarreal 3, and also we lost on penalties, and Madueke also missed a penalty. Listen, I'm not start getting concerned. I'm not very concerned, but I am quite concerned, if that makes sense. I'm a little bit concerned, not very concerned. Only reason being because this is the second friendly game we've lost in a row. And I've said this previously, the way you perform in a pre-season friendlies will hopefully take you into the first game of that Premier League season. And considering that we're playing Manchester United, we need to be up and ready. We need to be going, and there needs to be some level of cohesion and some style of play to look forward to. In regards to the game itself, the game was not great from an Arsenal perspective. However, I did think that Arsenal played well initially. We started off quite well, obviously Villarreal, low blocks, you name it. And unfortunately, we just couldn't break them down. So we couldn't really obviously get going, and it was so much like the same huffing and puffing. And it kind of just reminded me of a bit of like last season where we had all the possessions and we couldn't break a team down, even though we had a striker on the pitch in Gyökeres, but there wasn't enough service going into Gyökeres, in my opinion, from the wide players and the creative players on the pitch in terms of Ethan Wanieri, Bukayo Saka, and Martinelli. And talking about Martinelli, I just basically believe that I've said this in one of my previous last videos. I don't believe Martinelli is that guy in my opinion. Obviously, he's still at the club, so I have no choice but to support him whilst he's still here. However, if it was up to me, I did initially say I'll be opting to sell Trossard, but I'm now tempted to even sell both of them. I'm not going to lie to you. If we got a good offer to sell both of them, I would, in order to get Rodrigo, because as you guys saw, Madueke came on, he played on that left-hand side, and he didn't really produce much either. It's his first game back. He came back quite early from holiday, but he didn't really play much. And as I said, he also missed a penalty. Now, the shining light from that game for me from yesterday was Max Dowman once again. It comes on, is running in, progressive run, taking on his man's skills, and obviously he tried to put in a few crosses, but obviously none of them was converted. But I just feel like this guy is the future for Arsenal, and if it was up to me, I'll be integrating him as quickly as possible into the squad, first team this coming Premier League season, because we need more options and more creativity and more sort of unpredictability when it comes to the style of play and the kind of players that we've got on the pitch at the moment, because nobody knows about Max Dowman at the moment. And I just think that if we had a Max Dowman playing and coming off the bench, he's the type of player that a lot of teams wouldn't have done their work around. But listen, in regards to the game itself, it wasn't a great game. We started off quite quite well, but obviously a little bit shaky when it came to counter attacks as well. I just feel like the pairing between Saliba and Kivio was a bit shaky, in my opinion. Kivio didn't have the best of games. Neither did Miles Lewis Skilly, I have to say it. Neither did David Raya. And this pre-season, David Raya has been looking a lot shaky. I don't know if it's that number one shirt that's weighing quite heavy on him at the moment. Oh my God, it's so hot here. That number one shirt that's weighing quite heavy on him since he changed from number 22 to number one. And I just feel like this pre-season, we've just been shipping in goals. I know Gabriel Magalash is injured, but that shouldn't mean that we should be shipping in goals as much as we have been doing during this pre-season. And as I said, we've lost two games in a row now, one against Spurs and one against Villarreal. Bearing in mind, we haven't lost a game against Villarreal in such a long time. And we've barely conceded a goal against them, and now we're conceded three, parring. Yes, it's a pre-season friendly, but when you think about the starting lineup, David Raya, you had Ben White, Saliba, Kivio, and Lewis Skelly. That's a strong back five, in my opinion. And then you had Norgard. Norgard played okay, didn't play the greatest, lost the ball on a few occasions, but he also made great interceptions as well. And in my opinion, that Marino and Norgard link up just does not work with Wanyeri there. Wanyeri had a couple of chances. He played well, showed some promising sort of direct runs to the opposition's half, but again, no end productivity. When it comes to Bukayo Saka, he does what he does best, but however, again, no end productivity. He's my favourite player, but I'm not shy to criticise the player when I don't think they're doing well enough. And when you come to Victor Gyökeres, again, I've said this before, not enough service. He couldn't really get going. He had to switch positions with Martinelli a few times just to get touches on the ball. But again, it's his first game for the Arsenal starting at the Emirates, but hopefully better things to come yet. I'm going to get to Martinelli because I just feel like Martinelli, again, is coming up as a discussion where his end productivity is definitely not there, in my opinion. It's not there. It's not playing well. And also, we just need to find something to do with Martinelli because it's either, I don't know, like you just feel like the upward trajectory of Martinelli is really not there, in my opinion. When you think about how far Bukayo Saka's come, even now you've got Max Dalman coming up straight behind him, and now that we've got Madueke coming in, where does Martinelli fit in into this equation? But I just don't feel like Martinelli had the best of games yesterday, nor did he have the best of games against Spurs either. So there's some concerns there, in my opinion, when it comes to Gabriel Martinelli, and I think something needs to be done in regards to that before the window closes. We've got a couple of more weeks before the window closes, and we're still negotiating for Eberiche Eze. So from some reports I've heard and read as well, and there are still some hopes, and I say hopes because there's nothing concrete out there at the moment in regards to Rodrigo. But a lot of people in the fan base still want Eze and Rodrigo, but I just don't feel like Arsenal has the finances to be able to afford that in this transfer window. It might be a case of maybe Rodrigo stays for another year at Real Madrid and hopefully we can go in for him, if not in January, maybe next summer window. But the way things are looking at the moment for Mikel Arteta, if he doesn't pull anything out of the bag this coming season, because that game yesterday was a reminiscent of last season, the way we played and we dominated for parts of the game, and then boom, counter attack, and we conceded to a floppy goals. And I just feel like a lot of the goals that Villarreal scored were avoidable. It was just a lack of um, composure in the defensive box, and obviously again lack of composure from David Raya, from Kivior, and obviously we conceded 3 goals at the Emirates, the first game in front of the fans this coming season, and we're shipping 3 goals. The positive things is we managed to see Yuri Timber back on the pitch, Gabriel Magalhaes back on the pitch as well. So those are some positive to take away from the game. Max Dalman played well, as I said earlier, and yeah, Gyökeres started his first game, although he didn't score. You know, I think we've still got a lot more to see from him yet to come, but Arsenal have a lot to do, in my opinion. But listen, let's see how it goes. We've got Athletic Bilbao over the weekend. Hopefully, we can get a positive result in that game as well. And I believe Arsenal are going to be playing a behind the closed door friendly next week before travelling up to Old Trafford to play them in the first Premier League game of the season. And as I've said already, if you guys don't already know, I'll be doing a live watch along in regards to that game. So make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to share the video as well. Much appreciated. And yeah, I'm gonna go back and enjoy my holiday now. I'm sweating the things I do for you guys. But listen, have a good one, Gooners, and I'll see you guys in my next reaction video against Atletico Bilbao. Hopefully it's a more positive one. Take care.